for our daily life pop-up. And you know I'm following the Diddy trial, so come on in. And if this is going to be your first time joining me, um, thank you for joining me. And go ahead and subscribe. Um, I'm just going to be following this case. This is not my norm when going live daily. I normally do multiple topics, different topics each day. So, yeah, like I said, if you've been following me, you already know I go from one platform to the next, and I spend the whole week on that platform. All right. So, without further ado, we're gonna go and back it all the way up till 8:13 a.m. this morning. As you, those that have been following me, you know that I've been actually getting my resources from Washington Post, and I'm always just going to their website and just more so reading all their updates for the day. All right, so this goes back to 8:13 a.m. today, which is uh, what is today's date, y'all? I be doing so much. All right, so today's date is June 16th. So this is 8:13 today, June 16th. All right. So this article reads, flashback to Friday. Ye arrives at Diddy's sex trafficking trial. That was, I'm sure that was a head turner. So Ye, the controversial rapper formerly known as Kanye West, arrived at Sean Combs' sex trafficking trial Friday with the defendant's son, Christian King Combs. The rapper, dressed in white, was reportedly directed to the courtroom's overflow room. Ye has publicly advocated for Combs' release from prison. He has also been in regular contact with Combs' family and is reportedly collaborating with Christian on an upcoming album. Isn't that something? That's very interesting. Thank you all for joining. Hey, Raphael. Hey, Nagat. Um, Charlie, we're not here about politics, but that's your opinion. It's okay if you feel that way about Trump. That's not my president. I didn't even vote for Trump. I don't even have a distaste for Trump, if to be honest. Hi, Annette. I don't even have a distaste for Trump, but we're not talking about Trump today. Today we're talking about the Diddy trial, and that's what I'm gonna stay focused on. I'm following this trial from since day one. All right, so now we move to 8:15 a.m. The rise of trial tourism, how celebrity cases draw crowds to courts. So no, I don't even want to. I don't have to read that part. Okay, so let me just continue to go on to 8:26 a.m. They wrote about meet the three women sketching Combs at trial. Have y'all been seeing those sketches of Sean Combs? I don't like them. I don't like none of them. Uh, but they're saying three women have full control over Sean Combs' image, at least until the end of his trial. In the front row of the courtroom where Sean Diddy Combs is pleading not guilty to federal sex trafficking and criminal racketeering charges. The trio sits in the front row, each peering at the witness stand through binoculars, hastily producing sketches that will be disseminated to news organizations worldwide. As I said, I don't like the sketches. That's just my opinion. All right. So it goes on to 8:43 a.m. All I'm doing, if you're coming in, I'm just reading the updates from the Diddy trial from the Washington Post. All right. So while Sean Diddy Combs spent Sunday at Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, his two sons, Christian King Combs, 27, and Justin Dior Combs, 31, posted social media messages wishing a happy Father's Day to their pops. Both sons have been regular attendees at their father's trial, where he has pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. I really, really wonder what his sons are thinking, like what is really going through their mind. Emil, who is Emil? Hi, Akubasi. I'm not sure who you are, but hey, thank you for joining. We're going to continue on with the updates. It's at 8:53 a.m. and all of this is from today. All right, June 16th, 2025. It's week 6 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, and the government has indicated it plans to rest its racketeering and sex trafficking case against the embattled hip-hop mogul this week. Whoa, so they're trying to end it early. And they said it was going to be at least 8 weeks. So on Friday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said prosecutors could finish as early as Wednesday. Wow. Most of the people the government plans to put on the stand this week are summary witnesses, meaning their primary role will be to talk jurors through a slew of records, including text messages. As of Friday afternoon, there was only one anticipated witness who had a personal relationship with Combs, Brendan Paul, a former assistant. He may take the stand Monday, which is today. All right, so at 9:20 a.m., this part of the updates is saying jury number 6 is dismissed. They did talk about a juror last week. Judge Aaron Sabranian began court Monday morning by excusing juror number 6, whose credibility was called into question after inconsistencies in his statements about where he lived. Okay. The juror, a 41-year-old who works at a correctional facility, told the court during jury selection that he lived in the Bronx with his fiancée and daughter. But after an offhand comment made to a jury service staffer and further questioning by the judge, it was revealed that his girlfriend and daughter live in New Jersey and that he sometimes lives with his aunt in the Bronx. The juror also gave differing answers as to which home was his primary residence. I don't know what's going on with juror number 6, but I see why he was dismissed. Sabranian was initially poised to dismiss the juror Friday afternoon, but the defense pushed back against the dismissal of a black juror. The record raised serious concerns as to the juror's candor, Sabranian observed in his Monday ruling, adding that it was concerning that juror number 6 appeared to be shading his answers to try to remain on the jury, a big red flag for the court generally. Sabranian also quoted the defense's own words back to it, that this jury was already among the most diverse to ever serve in the district. Jury number 6 is excused, the judge said. He will be replaced by the first alternate juror. So I don't know who that first alternate juror was, but let's see as we go along. All right, so it's now at 9:21 a.m. and the government has called its first witness, Ananias Sanker, a paralegal specialist who will help walk the jury through a chart of evidence the government has compiled. All right, so it continues at 9:36 a.m. A chart being presented to the jury focuses on documents involving Christina Coram, the chief of staff for Sean Combs, aka KK. These include text and audio messages retrieved from various cell phones, as well as audio files. Coram is a vital part of the government's racketeering case against Combs. She is one of the people prosecutors have painted as a participant in the Combs enterprise, which they contend conspired to protect Combs' reputation and cover up his alleged crimes. So KK, it seems like you are really under fire here. So it is now at 10:05 a.m. The government has been picking its way through a 33-page chart showing conversations Christina Quorum, the chief of staff for Sean Combs, had with multiple individuals since 2016. In correspondence with Combs, his assistants, and his girlfriends Cassie Ventura and Jane Quorum appeared to be setting up hotels for her boss's freak-offs, as well as coordinating the delivery of thousands of dollars in cash. One set of messages from 2019 seemed to refer to Cowboys and Angels, a service Combs and his partners used to recruit men to participate in these freak-offs, per testimony from Ventura and Jane, who was using a court-approved alias. BTW, how long is BTW, which is, by the way, how long is he going to stay awake? Quorum asked in one message to Combs' assistant. Combs' ex-girlfriends have said that the freak-offs or hotel nights typically lasted 24 to 48 hours. Wow. All right, continues at 10:07 a.m. The government highlighted several messages from Sean Combs' chief of staff, Christina Quorum, referring to a person named Guido, whom prior witnesses have named as one of Combs' drug dealers of choice. These messages included a reference to picking up a Guido package, or, in one case, Quorum telling Combs himself, Guido outside. Continues at 10:20 a.m. In 2017, Cassie Ventura sent a message to Sean Combs' chief of staff suggesting Combs had just dragged her by her hair and that she didn't feel safe. WTF, Ventura sent to Christina Quorum. Quorum asked if Ventura was okay. No, but you should talk to him, Ventura responded. I'm sure you don't want to get involved, but no one deserves being dragged by their hair, she said in a follow-up text. I don't have my stuff. I don't even have money. I'm effed, Ventura messaged. Quorum, I will try to talk to him when he's up, Quorum assured Ventura. Wow. So I wonder how Christina Quorum, how does she feel about all of this, knowing that Diddy was being abusive to Cassie, as well as Jane, and probably numerous other women that he did freak-offs with. I just really wonder what was her mind going through. We really will never know, y'all, because we're not in her shoes. So maybe there was a possibility that Diddy had some dirt on her, as her being like a co-conspirator, or I don't know. It's just weird. Like, how can you sit back and allow this man to continue to do what he's doing to the women that he was involved with? Oh, Lord. All right. It's at 10:39 a.m. Messages sent to Sean Combs' chief of staff suggest that she was aware that the mogul's ex-girlfriend felt mistreated and sexually exploited, what I was just saying, and didn't want to participate in any more freak-offs or hotel nights. The ex, who testified last week under the pseudonym Jane, sent Christina Quorum messages in early November 2023 saying that she wanted no more hotel nights and I just can't. Then, after Cassie Ventura filed her lawsuit a couple of weeks later, Combs himself appeared to forward screenshots of texts he received from Jane saying she felt extremely exploited, heartbroken, and manipulated by you. Combs also appeared to send Quorum audio files of phone calls he recorded with Jane in the immediate aftermath of the Ventura lawsuit. Jane told Combs that the lawsuit described, like word for word, her experience. At 10:40 a.m., the court is now taking a short mid-morning recess. I didn't know they do mid-morning recess. All right. So at 11:15 a.m., Court has resumed, and Anaya Sanker, a paralegal specialist at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, is walking through another summary exhibit showing years of correspondence between Sean Combs' security guard, Damian Butler, aka D-Rock, and others in his orbit. Over the past 5 weeks, the government has portrayed Butler as part of the Combs enterprise, a pivotal component of its racketeering case against the music producer and entrepreneur. D-Rock is another one that's under fire, so we're going to see what's going to happen with him. All right, now at 11:37 a.m., the prosecution homed in on February 2024 text between Sean Combs, his security staffer, Damian D-Rock, Butler, and Mia, a former professional assistant to Combs. The messages, which were presented in a chart, showed Combs and Butler trying to contact Mia over a period of a week and communicating with each other about their efforts to reach her. Mia, who testified earlier using a court-approved alias, accused Combs of sexually abusing her and corroborated key details of Cassie Ventura's testimony, saying she had witnessed her former boss physically abuse his ex-girlfriend. So, you can't get around that when you're a witness to a crime and you saw it. Lord have mercy. 11:42 a.m. Hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone. Sean Combs texted me on February 7th, nearly a week after these exchanges began. Just need my memory jogged on some things. Combs continued. You were my right hand for years, so I just want to speak to you to remember who was even around me. He sent security staffer Damian D-Rock Butler a copy of the same text. The conversations took place when Combs was already battling multiple sexual assault lawsuits, including sex trafficking allegations from Cassie Ventura. Summary witnesses Anaya Sanker is now under cross-examination by defense attorney Tenny Geragos. It's a good few people involved. All right. So 12:20 p.m. defense lawyer Tenny Geragos has been trying to highlight individual messages and time periods to cast doubt on how involved Sean Combs' staff was in procuring drugs and coordinating freak-offs for their boss, or intending to the physical and emotional wounds of ex-girlfriends. For example, regarding a lengthy text message between Damian D-Rock, Butler, and Combs as they were trying to get in touch with a former assistant, summary witness Anaya Sanker confirmed that there are no records showing Combs calling Mia after February 7th, 2024. Geragos also highlighted certain periods when Chief of Staff Christina Coram didn't appear to have communications about freak-offs, drug deliveries, or physical abuse, including long stretches in 2019 and 2020, according to the government summary charts. We're going to continue 12:16 p.m. Sean Combs alternated between stoic and restless during Monday morning testimony. Combs, who is wearing a light-colored sweater and white-collared shirt, sat straight in his chair for parts of cross-examination, his hands clasped between his legs. He would regularly swivel his head from his lawyer, Tenny Geragos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, y'all. Forgive me if I'm not. Who was cross-examining the government's witness from a nearby podium to other areas of the courtroom. During parts of testimony, he turned and looked toward the gallery, or tilted his head to gaze up briefly at the ceiling. So it's probably antagonizing him with these witnesses taking the stand. And who wouldn't be feeling that way, because you're on trial. Oh, Lord. All right, this is at 12:26 p.m. Tenny Geragos has finished cross-examining Anaya Sanker, a summary witness for the prosecution, who walked the jury through charts showing correspondence of Sean Combs' most trusted staffers, Chief of Staff Christina Quorum and bodyguard Damian D. Rock Butler. Prosecutors have begun questioning their next witness, Delisa Penland, a special agent for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, and another summary witness. All right, now at 12:37 p.m., the summary chart the prosecution is now walking through is a big one, aligning the names of Sean Combs, Cassie Ventura, and alleged escorts with flight records, hotel reservations, and videos allegedly taken from freak-offs. The chart is 71 entries long. Special Agent Delisa Penland said the chart only shows individuals for whom they have video footage showing they were at a particular freak-off, which the government is referring to as a meeting for this testimony. All right, at 12:53 p.m., the chart tracking alleged freak-off dates, locations, and participants begins in August 2009 with an encounter involving Sean Combs, Cassie Ventura, and a man who went by the name Jules. Ventura mentioned Jules several times in her testimony, describing him as a trusted partner in the sex parties. Along with the first entry, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson highlighted a text exchange between Combs and Jules from around that time that appeared to show them working out their schedules for one of these meetings. The chart shows 2 meetings taking place in August and 1 in December, all at the London Hotel in New York. 12:59 p.m., there will be a pause in testimony as the jury is excused for lunch. Delisa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, will return to the stand shortly after 1:30 p.m. Both sides are discussing whom they plan to call as witnesses. Alrighty. So it continues to go at 1:10 p.m. So far, the biggest news of the day hasn't come from the witness stand. On Monday morning, Judge Aaron Subramanian I've probably been pronouncing his name wrong the whole time. How you doing, Ted? Thank you for joining in on the live. And to anyone else that's joining in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. All right. And just get the likes up for me. All right. On Monday morning, Judge Aaron Subramanian dismissed juror number 6 based on multiple conflicting statements he gave regarding his residence and who he lived with. The different answers not only raised questions about his eligibility. If his primary residence is in New Jersey, he would not be eligible to serve as a juror in the Southern District of New York, but his honesty. The judge expressed concern Friday about the jurors' shifting answers in which he tried to downplay the discrepancies and noted Monday morning that the juror may have been shading his answers to ensure that he was on the jury in the high-profile case. There is nothing the juror can do at this point to put the genie back in the bottle and restore his credibility, Subramanian said when issuing his ruling. So that was today. Juror number 6 was dismissed. At 1:19 p.m., testimony will resume a bit later at 1:45 p.m. as the parties discussed how the rest of Special Agent Delisa Penland's testimony will go Monday afternoon. Penland will not be allowed to draw too many inferences based on the summary chart, stating only what was contained in various correspondence and how they align with specific dates, locations, hotel reservations, and travel itineraries. Excuse me. All right, so this is 2 hours ago, y'all. So the Diddy allegations are shocking. Were they also business as usual? In late 2022, well before Sean Diddy Combs got into real trouble, a man in Los Angeles approached Tania Wallace with an offer. The man was a scout for Soft White Underbelly photographer Mark Latos YouTube channel about people struggling with issues such as abuse or addiction. Wallace, an aspiring singer who sometimes made money, 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 made mon doing sex work took Laida up on it for $300, sitting for his camera and talking about her life. Do y'all know who Tania Wallace is? I'm clueless. 2 hours ago still, court is now in session and Special Agent Delisa Penland is back on the stand. So if this was 2 hours ago, it's now 4:28. That means it is 2:28. Still 2 hours ago, Washington Post, they post on their website, jurors are being shown travel and credit card records that will help to establish that Sean Combs bankrolled freak-offs by paying for flights. Several of the flight records being discussed by the agent on the witness stand cite Cassie Ventura as a passenger. The jury also saw the name of a male escort who took part in the sexual encounters, according to testimony. All right, this is 1 hour ago. If reviewing a chart of records sounds like dry testimony, it is, and it's made all the more so because of the limitations and how the prosecution can describe the chart, requiring them to be very methodical and neutral in the presentation of these documents. These include bank statements, hotel bookings, flight itineraries, and text messages arranging to meet in specific hotel rooms at specific times. Before the recess, Judge Aaron Subramanian sided with the defense, which sought to limit how Special Agent Delisa Penland talks about the summary chart. Because Penland wasn't at these meetings, which the prosecution is suggesting were freak-offs, she can't make any inferences in her testimony about what the parties did. She's limited mostly to reading out the various documents, which are grouped by date. Still 1 hour ago, the government played two videos that only the jury, the court, and the parties were privy to on Monday afternoon. One video clocked in at 11 minutes. The other was nearly 40 minutes long. No audio was heard, with all the relevant parties wearing headphones and viewing the video on private screens. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson asked Delisa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, to review specific portions of the two videos along with jurors. Given the sensitivity with which the videos were shared, it's possible the videos were of freak-offs. Still 1 hour ago, a freak-off for Christmas. Sean Combs sent a text message to Cassie Ventura in early 2013 asking if she wanted to celebrate Christmas belatedly with a freak-off. "You horny," Combs began the exchange. January 11th. LOL, yeah, Ventura responded. "You horny," Combs began the exchange. January 11th. LOL, yeah, Ventura responded. "Would you want to celebrate Christmas and have a freak-off tonight or Friday?" He asked his girlfriend at the time before sending another message saying he had her Christmas presents. This is crazy. 59 minutes ago. Summary witness Delisa Penland has finished reviewing an evidence chart related to alleged freak-offs between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura from 2009 to 2017. Penland is expected to return to the stand Tuesday morning to review similar records related to Combs and Jane. A recent ex-girlfriend used a court-approved alias. Court has concluded for the day. Okay, so this is the last update. It is 1 minute ago. The judge dismisses juror over candor and credibility concerns and Sean Combs' case. All right. So to sum everything up, the 6th week of testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial began Monday, which is today, June 16th, 2025, with Judge Aaron Subramanian dismissing juror number 6 due to serious concerns as to the juror's candor. The prosecution is also calling more witnesses to... I'm live, Ma. All right. Um, began Monday with Judge Aaron Sobranium dismissing juror number 6 due to serious concerns as to the jurors' candor. The prosecution is also calling more witnesses to the stand. Brendan Paul, a former Syracuse University basketball player, arrested in March on drug-related charges, who was also mentioned in 3 civil lawsuits filed against Combs, is expected to testify. So that is Brendan Paul, a former Syracuse University basketball player. On Friday, yay, the controversial. On Friday, which is of last week, Ye, the controversial rapper formerly known as Kanye West, caused a brief spectacle inside the courthouse as he continued his public campaign calling for Combs' release from jail. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution, and he could be sentenced to life in prison if convicted on all counts. Now, sorry about the interruption with my mom because I'm in my room, the door is locked. So just trying to make sure I didn't get any interruptions, and I still ended up getting interruption. So, what y'all think, y'all? That's the updates for today. I'm not sure what this basketball player from Syracuse University is going to have to say. And I'm just curious of who else they're going to put on the stand. So leave your comments on what you think the end result of this whole trial is going to be, because they say they're going to wrap up everything this week as early as Wednesday. So that means they're cutting the case short. That was supposed to actually be 8 weeks. So what's your thoughts, y'all? This is Apostle V, again, with Daily Live Pop-Ups. Join me again here tomorrow with more updates, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Valencia B Ministries, official Valencia B Ministries. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I appreciate all the love and the likes if you can do so. All right, y'all have an amazing day. Shalom.